I used to spend 8 hours a day playing Call of Duty and other video games, and as embarrassing as it is to say that fact, I actually don't think I was lazy, but more lost. And now that I've made the shift to a more productive life and helped hundreds of other individuals do the exact same thing, in hindsight, I can see that the best analogy I can use to describe it is like going to the gym. If you go to the gym to try and build your dream physique, the best shape of your life, but you go in there and you go on the treadmill for 30 minutes, it's not that it's not productive. It's not that it's not a grind, a hard, a devoted thing to do to go there every single day and go on the treadmill. It's that you simply don't have the right resources or tools at your disposal or path to follow to reach the result you want. And it's the same thing with video games. The way they stimulate you, the way the hit markers on screen turn red when you get a headshot, the way the controller vibrates, the way the screen flashes, the audio is perfectly fine-tuned with the movement on the screen. It immerses you. And it has competition, skill-based matchmaking, meaning that it constantly keeps you in the loop of getting better but playing better people to put you in the flow state and keep you hooked and addicted to the game. But it is still a grind. I remember I used to wake up during the COVID lockdowns at 7 a.m. and immediately get on the game and play a couple hours before breakfast, get after, pretend I'm doing the work for my school, and then play more and more and more. And I'd learn about the game, and I'd make content about the game, and I'd play the bots to improve my accuracy so when I actually do get into the game, I'm better and more efficient. So I would say I wasn't lazy because I was still working essentially, but it's simply working on the wrong thing. And this is why people who have this kind of video game addiction to a degree and they play hours and hours and days of video games, as I personally have spent 210 days statistically playing video games, you're not lazy, you're just not redirecting your focus into the right path. And I'm hoping this video, in which I'll be showing you the kind of process I went from this person who embarrassingly spent almost a full year of his life playing video games to the person who I am now, who is helping others beat that same procrastination, beat that same addiction to the stimulation to finally achieve their dreams productively, whether that be in business, personal development or fitness, etc. Because productivity is the meta skill that garners you all of that. Hello, I'm Dylan Birch, I'm 18 and I coach unproductive people to turn productive once and for all. And in this video, I'm going to be kind of covering the story of my darkest days of procrastination. In hindsight, they were fun. It was a good time. I was playing with my friends. You have the camaraderie of video games. I got very good. 100,000 kills with one sniper. I always had a super high KD in the game, and I was good at trick shotting, etc. But the in-game status correlated to no in real life rewards, because again, it's the complete wrong journey. You can row as hard as you want. If the river leads to a dead end that doesn't take you where you want to go, then your work is futile. And no matter how many hours you put into the game that you feel is progressing you, because it stimulates your inherent desires for competition, for status, by having the gold camos in the game, by having obsidian on your sniper rifle, and doing the cool things that the people in-game compliment you on, it's still not progressing you. And although in hindsight it's easy to picture this and understand this fact, and you probably know it too, you have to realize that you not only want more, but you can get more. For me, I don't really think there was one single moment where I was like, oh, this is really shit, etc. Your parents would always be like, oh, come off the game, your eyes are gonna go square. You do bad in school, but none of them quite feel bad. The video game stimulation is higher than the loss of respect and kind of disappointment for your peers around you, so you just get bombarded with stimulation, so you don't really have time to catch up with the feelings of whether this is actually something you want to do. But for me, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Like, even when I was playing these video games, in the games, I would make friends with people, join these clans, etc. And I would edit videos for them for £30-40 per video. And obviously, at a 15-16-year-old individual, £40 is quite a lot of money for doing something you do for yourself. But it's more leverage. Seeing people on social media, being inspired by the likes of Iman Gadzhi, and although it was short-term motivation, it was more the opportunity for faith in something that has higher leverage than the stuff I was doing now. And I got blessed, personally. My Xbox packed it in, stopped working. I had the crossroad dilemma of what I do with the rest of my days. Do I A, buy another Xbox, continue my Call of Duty career, continue to edit videos and get stuck in the same rut, cyclical procrastination that was keeping my grades low, my business aspirations snuffed out to becoming a video editor for a Call of Duty clan? Or do I go for option B, which is to try and improve myself via personal development, by getting into the gym, by actually finding a business that I find passion in and improving the skills alongside that? And I'm glad that I chose the second option. My Xbox still to this day is under my bed, broken, the fan's not working, it hardly turns on, and that was the greatest gift that I've been given, because I wouldn't be speaking to you through this camera right now. As cliche and wishy-washy as it sounds, it's quite wild to think really that if it didn't happen, I probably would not have my desk in the same position. I wouldn't have the laptop I'm using now. I wouldn't have the clients that I spoke to in the past. I wouldn't have created the product that I'm really proud of. And I wouldn't have a in-person speaking event in front of 500 people coming up in the next couple of days. All because of one decision, not to buy another Xbox. It wasn't simple, though, cutting it cold turkey and not having the opportunity to continue, seeking that stimulation via gaming, etc. And the fact that the games were shit at the time. Modern Warfare 2019 had a hacking problem, so everything was just going to shit. But there was periods of difficulty, it's finding stuff to do, dealing with the boredom because now you don't have things to do. But as Tim Ferriss said, boredom unlocks creativity, and creativity leads to innovation. If I wasn't bored, I wouldn't have scrolled through YouTube, fell into the self-improvement niche of Hamza and Iman Gadzhi, started implementing the tactics that they were preaching, found the business model that I originally started with, which was social media managing, and then landing in what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have changed the lives of hundreds of people through my YouTube channel, through the people I've worked with, through the products I've sold to these people if I didn't have that boredom. So I think boredom was the biggest thing to do with settling with your default mode network, sitting in your bed for the hours that you now have free to put into something productive, but not having the productive drive to do so, until I landed on this one specific technique that fully changed the course of my life forever. For the last 257 days of my life, I have planned meticulously every single criteria of the day forthcoming the night before. The night before I close my eyes to sleep, I plan in hyper-specific detail every single step of my day coming the next day. Now I have my own product, which I plan it in, and if you want it at the top link in the description, but before, I just had a notepad where I track my habits and I just use my Apple Notes to plan the days. But I can single-handedly say I wouldn't be in the position I am now if I didn't find out this strategy. And the biggest caveat I must add is that it's not the traditional method of planning. There's a specific method I used, chronological intensity planning. Instead of eating the frog, doing the hardest thing first, because if you are in a rut of procrastination, if you are struggling with productivity and seeing yourself as productive, number two, and actualizing that in your work, that's impossible for you to do. If you are someone who has low dopamine because you've completely fried it by playing these video games for many, many days straight, then waking up and trying to do the hardest possible task is off the table, off your cards, and not a possibility for you. So start off with simple tasks. Make your bed, cold shower, clean your desk, organize your desktop on your computer, open the files you need to work on today. And when you've come through, tick, 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 ticked off all those tasks, you've built inertia, momentum, and you've released dopamine into your system, which is stacking on top of each other. Every single minor task you complete, stacking dopamine until when you get to the main task you're supposed to be doing, when you get to recording the video, your day is already full of wins. And when you look at the paper, when you look at your planner, when you look at your notes and you see tick, 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 you're reinforcing the self-image that you are someone who is productive. Because if you have consistently played 8 hours plus, spent 210 days straight playing video games and completely embarrassing yourself by living this dead-end life per se, then you need to shift your self-image. And there's two ways you go about this. I was having this conversation with a client before. The first option is changing how you look. Getting in the gym, getting jacked, getting a nice haircut, getting some nice clothes is the hardest option. because it takes time. But the second way is by building an undeniable stack of evidence that you are who you say you are. If you say you're productive and you can back it up with 257 days where you scored 9 out of 10 on your productivity rating system, then you are who you say you are. So when you sit down to do the work you set yourself, there's no seed of doubt in your brain limiting you from completing the work, because you still see yourself as someone who procrastinates because you haven't got this undeniable stack of evidence. Plan your days. Create that bank of data that reinforces the person you wish to become, and then you will finally become productive. There's one final lesson I want to teach you and hopefully leave you with a bit of inspiration and motivation to complete your work. The luck law of consistency is the life philosophy I am banking on. I've quit my job, I finished college, I'm not going to university. The luck law of consistency says that you can extrapolate luck, you can force luck by simply being consistent and intense in your output. Who's going to do better in the gym? The guy that does 1 session per week, or the guy that does 5? Who's going to do better on social media? The guy that posts 1 time per week, or the guy that posts 5? And again, there's disparities. Oh, this one's more quality. But if they both have the same quality and the other has more quantity, the other person's going to get more success. You throw shit at the wall until some of it sticks and you get success. Every social media post is a lottery ticket. Every gym session is a guaranteed lottery ticket. And the more you hold, the more chances you have of luck, per se, seeping in via the consistent output you're making. Be consistent for 5 years and I guarantee you'll get success. I've never seen it not happen. The universe is incredibly giving as long as you're consistent over a set period of time that is long and you consistently try and improve. The videos you're posting, improve the editing. The gym sessions you're doing, improve the exercise and the intensity you're putting into the session. The business work you're doing, really try your hardest every single week to improve just 1%. And success will seep in over the long term because of the luck law of consistency. I hope you found this valuable. And if you are looking to work with me one-to-one, I won't bog you down with the details or a sales pitch, but I'm changing people's lives in just 30 days. The top link in the description will take you there. Thank you for watching.